Let's be real for a moment. It's not the job, it's not the kids, it's not your crazy schedule, and it's definitely not the money. The only thing preventing you from living your best life is you. There, I said it. Now hold on, I'm not judging, okay? I had to say this to myself too. So I'm saying it to you with love, okay? And we're not here to beat ourselves up. No. We're going to be discussing the underlying causes why we don't show up for ourselves and how we're going to ultimately end that pattern. I'm Shamik, and this is Journey to 40, a love letter to myself and every other woman who's on a journey to become the best version of herself. So you've been waiting. You've been waiting for the perfect time, for motivation. You've been waiting for permission. You've been waiting not to be afraid. But waiting is a form of self-sabotage. And deep down, you know it. You've told yourself so many times, I'm not ready. I'm not prepared. I'm too busy. What if I fail? I have a tendency to start something and not complete it. But these are not facts. These are just tales, little stories we tell ourselves to convince ourselves that we're not worthy. But guess what? Stories can be rewritten. You have all the power to change the narrative. Here's what I had to do to finally get out of my own way and step into my power. And let me tell you something. I'm going to be real honest, okay? It's not going to be easy. But in the end, it will be worth it. I promise. So the first thing I had to do was I stopped making decisions based on fear. For so long, my choices were rooted in what I was afraid might happen. What if I fail? What if I wasn't good enough? What are people going to say? But one day I realized I was making decisions that my future self would have to live with. And she deserves so much better. So I had to ask myself, what would I do if I wasn't feeling afraid? And that became my compass. Another thing I had to do, I stopped waiting to feel ready. Can I be honest with you? If I waited until I felt ready, I wouldn't be talking to you today. There is no perfect moment, no magical feeling that makes you feel fearless. You just have to decide that you are worthy. So I started taking action, whether it was messy, totally unorganized, totally imperfect. I showed up scared. But I realized something powerful happens every time I showed up for myself. I proved to myself I can do this. Another one is I chose discipline over motivation. Now, motivation is cute and all, but she's not reliable. She shows up when she wants to, then she disappears. Have you ever listened to a motivational podcast or you see a motivational quote on social media and you feel like, yes, I can conquer the world, I can do this, right? And the next minute, you don't feel the same way. You're back into the mode of self-sabotage. Yeah, that's what motivation does. But discipline is that girl. Discipline is that friend who's going to wake you up when you want to sleep in and remind you that you have things to do. Discipline is that friend who's going to remind you that you made promises to yourself. So I had to build habits that honored my future self, whether that was meal prepping, moving my body, speaking life into myself. I showed up, not perfectly, but consistently. And that's what matters. Consistency. Something else that held me back for way too long was overthinking. I had to silence the overthinking. It was my biggest enemy. I would talk myself out of opportunities, ideas, even my own happiness. It's wild to me how we can dream big one moment and the next moment we're tearing it all down with what ifs and the worst case scenarios. So I had to stop waiting until everything made sense. Instead of obsessing over the how, I committed to the why. And I trusted that along the way, clarity would come with each movement. You don't need self doubt. You just need action and belief. And finally, I started acting like the woman I'm becoming. I stopped waiting to become her and start being her. So I would ask myself each day, what would she do today? Would she wake up and spend time with God? Would she read her Bible and pray? Would she give up on her goals? Would she self doubt? Would she keep shrinking herself? Would she keep putting others above herself? Or would she walk in purpose, even when her knees were shaking? That version of me needed love, consistency, and bold action. Now, I have a question for you. What have you been telling yourself that's been keeping you stuck? I want you to put it in the comments. I want you to say it out loud and write it in your journal. We're releasing it all today. And I mean today, right now. Not next month, not next year, and not when you lose the 10 pounds that you've been trying to lose forever. Okay? Today. It's time for you to break free. And you don't need to be perfect. You just need to start. Just take one small action that's going to get you closer to your goal. That's all you need. Start small. Here's what I want you to take with you today. You're not behind. You're not too late. And you're not too old. The woman that you want to be is on the inside of you. You just have to trust her voice more than you trust your fear. If today's message hit home for you and you're ready to do the deep work of letting go of what's holding you back, then there's a book I would like to recommend to you. And it's called The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest. It dives deep into self-sabotage, healing, and how to build your life from a place of power and truth. So if you're on your own journey of becoming her, this book will bless your spirit. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because here on Journey to 40, we're not just dreaming, we are becoming. Peace and blessings.